games, no doubt.
Yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun here today. Again, do tell your friends to join us. We're going to be here every Thursday and Friday. So how about that? Now you have 2 days out of your week figured out. You're going to be with us.
Yeah. The rest of the day, it doesn't even matter. Just make sure you nail this, and you got a good day on your hands.
Okay.
So here's Horang2 coming onto stage.
The, dare I say, handsomest player here at the KSL. GM level dimples.
You dare not.
I dare.
Handsomest player.
No, I think Horang2's more handsomest than the J-Dang. That's right.
That is.
Are you yelling at home at your computer screen? I can't hear you.
That's one of the craziest things you've ever said.
Well, I'm a crazy guy, Artosis.
Listen, as far as I'm concerned, Horang2, he's great. But he mines 7 minerals while Jadang, he mines 8. Okay?
So funny. Okay, we've got Stork coming up as well. And now this player many times has been the best Protoss in the world. I mean, this guy is absolutely terrifying. Really, really smart, a deep understanding. You can learn a lot. If you ever get your hands on a Stork replay, you're going to see stuff you didn't even realize.
Yeah. And he has to be like that. And he's very good at mechanics as well. But it's kind of a funny thing. I believe, and someone correct me if I'm wrong, but for top-level players, he is the slowest we've ever had in StarCraft 1 in modern era.
Yeah, well, he's the guy that basically disproves that you need to have 400 APM.
Yeah.
Okay? This guy sometimes has like 120 APM. I've seen it.
Stork is like, I would say, 260 to 270 in that range
I have
time.
a bunch of his replays, and I've actually watched, and it's like, no, he's actually sometimes he drops so low, especially in certain fights. He's very precise, though. Now, we're going to have Game 1 on Roadkill. I'm loving this map. This is a map made by a non-Korean, one of our foreigners.
Yeah.
Again, we got to get that out there. There are people outside of Korea that love and care about this game. And we already see that now as his channel's filling up.
Yes, indeed. And Roadkill is quite a nice map. I've enjoyed playing it. All the matchups are pretty fun here. And, it's got a lot of bones on it, so that's always nice.
Yes, we'll talk more about all the different bones on the map.
That it is.
It belongs in a museum.
Is this an Indiana Jones reference?
It is. Well, I mean, I'm just thinking about that dead dinosaur on the map and how that would look good in a museum.
Yeah, I got you.
Was run over by something. How big was the vehicle that ran over that guy in the middle of the map? How big did it have to be, Artosis?
Pretty darn big.
We're going to talk about that more in a second as Game 1 is ready. Horang2 versus Stork. All right, we're ready. We've got Horang2 in the center right. And at the very bottom center of the map is Stork. So let's talk about this. You know, it is important to note that when you're this close, Reaver drops are very real. Certainly, you want to be careful if you're going to be, in this case, Horang2, because you can get your main dropped, or you can get pushed in the front. Whereas, really, Stork only has to worry about the likelihood of a drop in his natural.
Yeah, it's very, very true. Whenever you have a 4-player map, it's generally rotationally symmetric, which means if you're next to each other, one player will have an advantage. And you're certainly right that it goes to Stork here.
Okay. Now, PvP. Again, we're trying to make this cast accessible even to the newbies. So this matchup, is centered around the Dragoon. That is the best early game unit for a lot of reasons. I mean, for one, it can shoot a shuttle down. If microed correctly, it will not even be hit by a Zealot. The Zealot does have a role, but a lot of times it's only if you can get the Zealot there before the Dragoons are out. Or you flood them with Zealots and they have to micro the Dragoons so much they end up losing workers.
Yeah.
From there, we want to see, is it going to be Robotech? Is it going to be tech into Dark Templars? Or are they going to try to take a risk and maybe try to get a quick expansion up?
Well, you know, that's always kind of the interesting part in a PvP for me is, you know, when they actually decide to take the Nexus. And on some of these maps like Gladiator, I'm sure we'll get into that when we get to Gladiator, but it can be pretty hard. Now, this is a reverse ramp map as well, but have we seen PvPs here yet?
I don't
think. I
think
can't remember
so.
PvP here yet. I just wonder if it'll end up playing out like Gladiator very much. It's a little bit different, right? It's a lot longer to the actual position, so it might not be as crazy as Gladiator in the early game.
Sure.
But not 100% sure on that.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, that's a very good point. You know, even on maps where you start out on the high ground, and when you try to leave your base, you end up on low ground, you can be contained on that very, very easily. Where, and then you take that concept, if you're on low ground and they can take control of the high ground and contain you, it's a nightmare. It's almost impossible to get out of there, even if you have a Reaver and you're trying to push.
Now, Stork actually gets his probe in immediately here, so this will slow down tech a little bit. The Zealot was made, and you notice Stork gets to block his ramp, so he can tech immediately. We have to wait for a Dragoon for Horang2, though, to chase out this probe so that he can finally put down whatever it is that he wants.
Yeah, that probe's continuing to move out. And this is going to be a little bit frustrating here for Horang2. I mean, it's of no fault of his own, but you know, this is what happens, especially in this matchup. If you're on a 4-player map, I mean, if you scout what happens to be the wrong spot and they scout you, well, you got to try to play around this. So you can see the probe was finally killed off. Now, this negates a few of the initial options here for Horang2, like if he were to make the fastest Twilight Council ever and try to rush into DTs, whereas Stork could have done that in Horang2's mind's eye.
Yeah.
And he needs to at least be ready for that or take the gamble, you know?
Yeah, yeah, and it is quite an advantage in that way, so I'm really glad you point that out. Now, Stork actually adds 2 gates immediately here.
So, he's going for the 3-gate play, and this can be very powerful, but we have a Citadel of Idun coming down here, so it's going to be a delayed DT rush.
Yeah, and you know what? I feel like the mind game here was maybe won by Horang2 because, like you said, he's looking at this and saying, well, I can't really go DT. And Stork's looking and saying, well, you can't go DT because I had a probe in your base forever, right?
Or
so
if you did, it would be late. It's like not the efficient choice in a weird way.
Yeah.
But because it's not efficient, Stork, in his huge brain, he just factors it out.
Yeah.
And now it's going to be a reality. And we'll have to see how Stork tries to handle this. Now, he's not dead yet, okay? The truth is the Dragoons are going to be able to burst out on the map, possibly get there before the DT's even out.
Yeah, but, you know, with the ramps and everything, if Horang2 is sitting back a little bit defensively with his set of Dragoons off of 2 gates, he can slow it down quite a bit. I look at this and I say, absolutely, I'm expecting Horang2 to get massive damage with these DTs.
You might be right. We also need to see, okay, now Horang2's doing the fake very well. He's making it look like maybe he went for his own 3-gate goons. He's going to try to come out here. This is in between when the additional Dragoons would have come. So, he's got to be careful, though, because Stork is going to pursue this for sure.
Yeah, Stork sees he was up a single goon at the beginning of that fight. He gets that initial Zealot as well. And the DTs are on the way.
Yeah. So, he wants to actually give up the ramp this time around. Now, the probe is going to come in here and scout for Horang2, and Horang2 is going to be very, very happy with this. Now, he just needs to hold the ramp. And, you know, there's going to be 2 DTs coming out. So one, no matter what, is going to be barreling towards the main base here of Stork.
Well, Stork can mess up the AI of that a little bit. Looks like he's going to just hold that ramp for now. Doesn't know it's DTs yet still.
Okay, he should now. He should see the blur. Now, is he going to be able to get a cannon up back at home? He should not have a forge yet with this build.
And look at that 1 DT just making a beeline, like you said, Tasteless. The rest of Horang2's units going after what Stork is microing around in his main base here. Stork trying to reduce the Dragoon count for his opponent, knowing these can't really get out.
Yep, he knows that 1 DT has to stay back here, so he needs to get the ramp blocked over here.
Yeah.
And it looks like, in fact, he's going to keep hurling Dragoons towards Horang2, but, I mean, this is basically game over.
But with the forge up, like, he can probably get a cannon to finish, right?
No, there's no way. 100% no.
Okay.
GG. Yeah, the problem is that it's really hard to body block the DTs.
Yeah.
The DTs kill the cannon warping in so fast. It's just funny.
I'm a little bit surprised he didn't just try some probe drills, but I get it. DTs get in your base, you don't have that detection. The amount of probes you're going to